Okay, let's get to this daily. I think this was a pretty interesting close. I feel like it kind of sets up today to be kind of a decision day because this is an inside bar of an inside bar, and this bar even is almost kind of an inside bar because, excuse me, it spans so much of this, and probably it's just like an extra hour or two that it would have missed being, potentially completely an inside bar. But regardless, we kind of do have this trading range that we are kind of in. I think on lower time frame we might even draw it down here, but something like this, we're kind of in this range. So I think I'm expecting a breakout from the range, but I don't know necessarily if that will be sustained. I think that if it breaks to the low, there's a higher chance of it being sustained. I think if it breaks above this, I think if it's just all buying today, and I don't even know necessarily if it's if it's an all buying day, if we will break above the prior bar. We might just put in yet another inside bar. But if we got a green inside bar or a break above here, I think I would expect us to take a shot at this level and then probably look for maybe a rejection after a third push up um, within this tight channel. And then maybe like shorts will step in here, and then there's a short to the downside. Otherwise, I think if we break out down, I think we probably test this level, maybe have some sort of retracement and then another leg down, or maybe we just start trying to pump. Um, but I think it would be reasonably healthy for us to hit these levels because it's probably the case where if we go up and we get rejected here, we're going to have, you know, we're definitely going to start hitting these levels down here. And this structure just doesn't look, I don't know, this just doesn't look that bullish. After such a strong push up this way, for this to be all sideways is pretty good. That's fine. But for it to be sideways for this long now, it's kind of starting to become a little bit like, where are the bulls? Where are the really strong bulls who would like to step in and make these impulsive moves? I wouldn't call this impulsive at all, right? We have 1 day or 2 days of pump followed by 3 days of selling, 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 nearly back to origin. So we're still making, right? We're still making higher lows, but um, it's just not becoming rapidly more aggressive, rapidly increasing aggression from bulls, and we're not really sustaining any pumps. Excuse me. So I think we'll probably see sellers step in at this level, and then we'll see what happens. Like maybe if sellers can only push it down to like here, and we put in another like more macro higher low, like with this higher low, then we can have a push up. But I think certainly right now we're not in. I don't think that right now we're like. Sorry, I just got a call. Okay, so let's remove all those drawings. I think what I was saying is something along the lines of after such an impulsive, really strong move here, we're not really seeing much urgency from buyers in this territory just yet. So I think we're more inclined to see any sort of push above here get met with sellers. Not necessarily overwhelmed with sellers, but you know how it is. Like sometimes you have something that's so strong that when you do a pullback, this kind of just goes straight up. I don't really expect that here, even though you kind of almost have that structure. I just don't think that this structure here is as strong as we really would like to see in this kind of region to set up this move where there's just no sellers here, no sellers here, no sellers here. Everybody's just getting eaten up. I don't necessarily anticipate that happening here. Mainly because on the daily chart you have all of these like dojis and inside bars. Like the inside bar represents uncertainty, and the inside bar represents consolidation. And same with the dojis. So there's so many dojis lately, especially there's so many inside bars. We're inside a pretty clear trading range that we've been respecting for quite some time, and we're kind of near the we're kind of near the low of that actually. So I mean, yeah, I guess I'm not expecting any sort of breakout to sustain necessarily. I think that if we have a push up towards the top, I think it's probable that we meet with sellers here, but I definitely think there's going to be buyers down in this area as well. Just like there's going to be sellers up here, yeah. So I think we are somewhat destined to be range bound at least a little bit, and maybe we're kind of on a trend downwards for bears, such that we might kind of break down here and then come back up here and then test this high. And then depending on the structure of this move, we can possibly look at us actually being impulsively bullish. Because if we don't just pop right now, right? If we continue to go downward, and especially if we put in another low, then all of this area has been consolidation, and bulls have the foot off the gas. They're not really doing anything, just letting bears kind of sell a little bit. Like, it's mainly profit taking. It's not even really bears like that. Maybe bears have kind of come in around here for little scalps and stuff, but like all of this stuff, you know, this is looking more like profit taking than actual bears entering the marketplace. Because just like bulls haven't made anything impulsive, bears haven't made anything impulsive either. So if it happens to be the case where bears are unable to do much with it here, and then kind of breach this level, but then we find like buyers in this area and just have a bounce from there, we can definitely have the impulsive um, aggression and urgency that we'd like to see for a run to much higher. And that should be that's what we expect when we see a move that's this strong. So for us to not be getting it right now, it makes me think that either bears are totally going to be in control of this market, or it means that bears at least temporarily are in control of the market, and we need to wait for their move to play out. And that move would be a second leg down. This was our first leg down, and we kind of have something up here, and then a second leg down would give, I think, bulls a lot of confidence to start getting more active. But otherwise, we're probably in the corrective phase of the correction, and we push a little higher and then have an impulsive move down, and then when it no doubt inevitably cannot clear out all of these bulls and get us all the way down to this region, if we like stop in mid 50s and then start to rebound, then I think we have a really high chance of breaking all-time high. Of course, there's a lot of things that can happen between now and then, and a lot of different ways it can go down. So hard to say at this moment in time. But that's kind of what I'm looking at in terms of, maybe we could get an all-time high out of like these next few trades or something. I feel like, disregard what I said, next few months, I guess. I kind of feel like we don't really want to be longing. The 3 consecutive red candles, I think, are better setups for a short out of this region, and like a push towards this 58, 57.5 region. But bulls we can certainly buy above any candle here as well, because if we are using this as the channel for a high, buying above here, you're already going to be looking at maybe only a couple. I mean, that's still actually a reasonable amount of money. There's still a couple percent for it to go, but I think it just makes more sense with all of the bearish strength here. Bulls just haven't been active in a few days. Although last time we had a pump here, it was after 3 consecutive bearish candles, so that's something that we could be watching for as well here. But yeah, I think probably a little bit more likely that we go down first than go up first. But I think that whichever move we get, it's not going to be immediately sustained. Like if you take this short here, it's at like under 60.5, and we spike down to 57, I would think that there's a reasonable chance, especially if we spike above this level, especially if we spike down to like 58.5 or something like that, and then bounce back a little bit. I would definitely think that you can get out break even on your short before, I mean on your long before we take a dip lower. So I think that is my thoughts on this chart right now. I guess we can take a look at the weekly since weekly should be coming up soon. Yeah, just barbed wire, kind of the same thing. Not really expecting too much in terms of getting out of these ranges. I think we're still in a consolidation mode. I don't think we're actively impulsively bullish right now. I think we're very eagerly awaiting the signal that sends us, but I don't know that we're on that just yet. So yeah, do we need to check on any lower time frames? 4 hour. I mean, this is kind of like this was almost like an inside bar. So could be kind of setting up yeah, I mean, I think it's probably more likely that we have a test down here and then maybe get a buyback and then take a shot at this high. That's kind of what I would be looking for on these lower time frames, although we really have to be still always careful about this. But I definitely think this is kind of a bear flag setting up. And because of how long it's been going on for, I think it's definitely possible that this could be the final flag in here and that we can have 1, 2, and then like a third push down. Maybe this like here or something. And then break above this. We have to break above this trend line. If we don't break above this trend line, it's going to be problems. If we don't break above this trend line, like I'm thinking we have to test this low. We have to. I mean, at the very least, we have to test this low. I feel like we're probably going to be in the process of testing this low very soon. But yeah, I think if we don't break above this trend line, we are going to hit 57 probably this weekend. I mean, I guess you have technically, yeah, tomorrow's the 6th, 7th. Yeah, so we have until, I mean, when I say the weekend, I really mean until Monday morning. But yeah, I definitely think we could visit 57 by Monday morning if we don't break above this trend line. If we do break above this trend line, I think that we could see 64 or 65 by Monday morning. I think that would definitely be on the table. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at for the weekend. Probably looking to play the trading range mostly. Maybe take a shot once we get some sort of confirmation and things look a little bit stronger, impulsive, like to the downside. But yeah, if I'm gonna take the high time frame macro daily signal, it would probably be on a lowish size, and this would be the short I would take. Yeah, so I would take 1/4 size of what I'll normally take if I have a 1% stop loss, and then. I mean, yeah, the thing is like our first target is right here. So it's like barely a 1-to-1. But the thing that is nice is that if we do break under this, there's a reasonable chance that you should be able to get a reevaluation point out here, such that even if you end up taking this just like a 1% thing, it's still pretty high probability. I think the main thing that would make it not super high probability is just the types of consolidation that might be happening on low time frame, like this really sideways, really extended. Like there's very clearly balance here between bulls and bears right now. So bears are clearly not getting super aggressive, and if that's the case, then so be it. But you would like to see bears push down here and then hold this level. And when you see this type of sideways consolidation for such an extended period of time, you start to think that if we do break down here, it might not be sustained, as we spoke about earlier. So I think we would have to see probably a little bit more than just a breach of the lower level. But trust that this double bottom sell signal is very real, very real. So maybe not necessarily the first time we breach underneath it, but once we start to like really price accept underneath this level, I think we probably take a shot at 57 or 58. There you go.